Hello. How's everybody? You guys are here in the rain. I can't believe it. And you have terrible hair. Who cares? Anyway, I just want to say thank you for hanging in there during this rainy Saturday. I'm so happy to be here with you. And I'm happy to tell you about this book that my friend and I, Jane, have written. And I've wanted to be a journalist for as long as I can remember. And this book is all about tracking people down, interviewing fascinating people. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about how I became a journalist. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the book. So when I graduated from college, I knew one thing. I knew I wanted to be a broadcast journalist. So I said to my mom, who's sitting here in the audience today, I said, Mom, can I borrow your car? Because I have one job interview lined up in Richmond, Virginia. My mom lives in Alexandria. And I had a new green suit on. I had my hair all blown out. I had a resume tape. And my mom said, you know, you can do it. You can do it. I drove to Richmond for my job interview at this TV station. I looked around the newsroom and I'm like, this is good. I'm going to sit there and I am going to date him and my whole life is going to snap into focus. The news director puts the tape in the machine. He plays it for a couple of minutes. He stops it. He pops it out and he says, Hoda, I'm sorry, you're not ready for Richmond. And I had no plan B, like that was it. And I go, what, was there something wrong with the tape? He said, no, you're not very good, but I want to wish you good luck, you know. Bye-bye, like that. So as I'm leaving, he says, well, wait, before you go, there's a buddy of mine who's a news director in Roanoke, and he's hiring people. He's leaving for a conference tomorrow morning, but I bet you if you catch him tonight, he'll give you a job. He said, you know, do you want me to call him and tell him that you're coming? I said, please call him and tell him I'm coming. So I called my mom, and I said, my mom goes, how was Richmond? I go, Mom, I don't want Richmond. I want Roanoke. I'm going to Roanoke. I get to Roanoke. I drive 4 hours. I look around. I'm like, this is okay. I can sit there and, oh, I can date him. Like, this is good. I'll be fine in Roanoke. The news director in Roanoke put my tape in the machine. He played it for a couple of minutes. He popped it out. And he said, Hoda, I'm sorry, you're not ready for Roanoke. I'm like, who in the hell's not ready for Roanoke? You know what I mean? Apparently me. I was like, okay. I said, is there something wrong? He said, you're not very good. You're green. You know, he said, you know, bye-bye, like that. So as I was leaving, he said, well, wait a second, before you go. He said, a buddy of mine is hiring in Memphis, Tennessee. He's going to the same conference I'm going to, but he's leaving in the morning. If I call him, you know, I'll let him know you're coming if you'd like. And I said, please call him and tell him I'm coming. So I called my mom, how was Roanoke? I go, Mom, I don't want Roanoke. I want Memphis. Like, I am going to Memphis. Now, Tennessee's the long, skinny state, and Memphis is all the way at the other end. So I drove all night across the great state of Tennessee. I got to Memphis. I meet the news director. I hand him my tape. He puts in the machine. He plays it. He ejects it. And he says, Hoda, I'm sorry. You are not ready for Memphis. And I thought, oh, my God, what is wrong with me? The suit, the hair, the tape is terrible. And as I'm leaving, he said, well, wait, before you go, he says, I have a buddy of mine who's hiring. I drove the entire southeastern United States. I got rejected in Birmingham, Alabama at ABC, NBC, and CBS, 3 there. I drove to Dothan. Does anyone know where Dothan is? Okay, then. I got rejected in map.dothan. The guy said, no, thank you. I got rejected through the panhandle. At the end, 27 news directors told me no. 27. And I was done. I was tapped out. It was 10 days later. I was depressed. My mom needed the car. It was time to go home. So I said, you know what? I was in the panhandle. I said, I'm just going to drive home to Virginia. And I'm not, you know, I was sad. I put on James Taylor. I didn't have a map. I figured I was going to drive north for a while and then over to Virginia. So you know how they say God gives you a sign? So there was this huge physical sign that said Greenville, Mississippi, which shows you where I was. Our eye is on you, CBS. I said, you know what? I'm going to go into that television station and get a map. I am so lost. And then I'm just going to go home and it'll be over. So I get to the station, and there's this short little man named Stan. He's like, hey, I'm Stan Sandroni. I'm the news director. I was like, hi. He goes, I was sports director yesterday, and I got promoted. I was like, oh, good for you. He said, well, what is your name? I said, my name's Hoda. He said, come on in, Hilda. Let's look at that tape. I was like, you know what? Who cares what your name is when you're getting rejected? I didn't even care. So he takes the tape. He puts it in the machine. He plays it. And something amazing happened. He watched that tape. He watched the whole horrible, terrible 30-minute tape to the end. I was suddenly standing up taller. I was watching him watch it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. When it was done, he stopped the tape. He looked at me, and I'll never forget what he said. He said, Hilda, I like what I see. I said, you do? I was just sobbing because I was so tired. And I couldn't believe this guy hired me. So it reminded me that you just need one person to believe in you. You don't need 27, you need one. So if you love something enough, find the one person who's going to allow you to go down that road. And to show you how much this guy believed in me, I was in the newsroom one day working on a story, something breaking like how Girl Scouts needed more leaders or whatever it was. And as I was writing the story, he walks in and he goes, "Who has a blazer?" I go, "What?" He goes, "A jacket. Who has a jacket?" I go, "Oh, I have a blazer. It's hanging up on that hanger. I thought somebody needed it for a stand-up." He goes, "Oh, good. You need to anchor the news because Ann is sick." I was like, okay, so the litmus test for who anchors the news in Greenville is who shows up to work with a blazer. I was like, always show up to work with a blazer. That's what I told myself. So that day, I'd never done it before. I was like, come on, this is like a big day for me. I put me in the blazer, we're sitting in the studio, and it was a single anchor show. I was all by myself. I was praying. I was like, please, God, come on. I need to do this. This is a big deal. And the teleprompter was really big. And the woman who was ill was Ann Martin, who was like the main big popular anchor in Greenville. So the prompter said, "Good evening, I'm Hoda Kotb. Ann Martin is out sick." I'm like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. So I looked up at the prompter and I said, "Good evening, I'm Ann Martin." I was like, oh my God. Have you ever done that? You're like, did I? They know I'm not Ann Martin. They love Ann Martin. I'm like the other one. And I wanted to start all over. You know when you just want to, but I had already blurted that out. And I don't know about you, but when I mess up, I keep on messing up. And it was one of those newscasts that I just kept fumbling and stumbling. It was like I was on a toboggan going down a mountain screaming. That's what it felt like in my head. 30 minutes was over, and it was long. And when it was done, the guy on the floor who tells you when to start talking goes like this, "Ooh, good try. Let me get that mic off you." And he like sort of shook off the cooties. And I walked into the newsroom to get canned, and I looked around for Stan, and he wasn't there. And I thought, oh my God, I have to wait till tomorrow to get fired. And I got in the car, and I was depressed, so I said, let me go to the grocery store, because everyone has their thing. And mine is, I like to have junk food or ice cream or something. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go get something to eat. I feel terrible. So I get to the grocery store, and I'm looking around at the ice cream aisle. And this lady comes up to me, and she looked crazy. You know, her hair was nuts. Just a few teeth, and she goes, "Oh my God, I just seen you on TV. I felt so sorry for you." I was like, oh God, oh my God, oh my God. So I thought it was over, and so I went back to work the next day to get fired, and Stan was like, "Well, I've seen what happened. It wasn't good, but Ann's sick again, so why don't you try it?" He gave me another go. And this guy, they asked us to bring to Studio 1A in Rockefeller Center somebody who changed the course of your life. And I brought Stan Sandroni, and he walked in there. You guys, it was such a big day for me to have him there. He looked around, he was like, "Is that Matt Lauer? Is that Al Roker? Hey, Al!" You know, but he said, "I knew that you could do it." And I said, "You know what? You are the only one." And again, remember in your life, if you love something enough, just, you know, a lot of people are going to tell you no along the way. And sometimes you just need one person who tells you yes.